33rd out of 192 countries in the Gender Inequality Index in 2022. An assessment for gender equality is based out of three factors: reproductive health, empowerment, and the labor market. When we try to navigate the several reasons for the existing gender inequality in the Indian context, like poverty, poor medical health, child marriage, and etc., all of them act as a consequence of the present patriarchal norms and the sexist social structures. Sexism is one of the most talked about issues in the contemporary times that we are still fighting against. It is incorporated in the Sustainable Development Goals, being the SDG 5. One of the main and crucial ways the world has been working on this is through education. What if I told you that our ancestors were in fact very gender equal, that education in women in India was encouraged and that women were deemed as goddesses? All that in ancient India. Yes, I was able to dig into the gendered perspectives of ancient Indian history all through a happy accident. During college admissions, I had opted for Sanskrit out of obligation. Now, this posed to be a challenge for someone who had only done Hindi till the 8th grade, let alone study Sanskrit. Fortunately though, I was open to a whole new discipline where I learned all about the social structure and scriptures of ancient India. My course had ancient Indian scriptures and ancient Indian polity. While studying them, I was fascinated to learn about how women shared an equal status in all aspects during the Harappan and the Rigvedic period. The Rig Veda is known to be the oldest of the 4 Vedas, and it mentions women sages or rishis like Lopamudra, Devyani and Romasham. This had completely shattered a preconceived notion I had in my head regarding how ancient civilizations were either primitive or didn't center women in their society. Honestly, these notions, or rather stereotypes, had come from me being completely unaware of social structures back then. As I read more about ancient history, I realized the importance of the intersectional point of views while studying it. A lot of history, as we know and see, has a Eurocentric and a patriarchal lens to it, which consequently conceals stories that do not conform to these ideologies. Do you know about Zheng He Sao, a Chinese female pirate of the 1800s that commanded over 800 ships and 70,000 workers? Yet, she is often overlooked in the lists of history's greatest pirates, which tend to focus on the male figures and counterparts whose feat don't even compare. We have been taught that Charles Babbage, who invented the first computer. But what about Ada Lovelace, a mathematician who was Babbage's associate who wrote the algorithm for the prototype of the first computer? This is how studying history can influence our perception of the world. Therefore, it is important to highlight cultures and stories in history that have depicted women as active members of society. History is a powerful tool that helps us have context of the present from the learnings of the past, and furthermore helping us devise solutions of the future. What if the solutions of contemporary problems were in our history? While currently many cultures try excluding women from religious sites and performing religious rituals, according to Rig Veda, women used to get upayanas, a form of ritual that is done before one commences their education, then being allowed to perform ceremonies and rites. Similarly, the Quran gives various economic freedoms and property rights to women to protect their assets, even though contemporarily patriarchal practices grant more assets to men rather than an equal division. Our localized history teaches us about gender equality and the capability of women, which contradict the toxic traditions and stereotypes that are being practiced in the name of our culture, and help us stand against them. When we stop hiding women and their accomplishments in the storytelling of our past, we take a very crucial step to empower women for their individual behavior and collective change.